Hi there. Welcome to my admittedly cluttered office. I've decided to move down into this environment again instead of monopolizing the middle of our kitchen. Anyhow, folks, I'd like to start off this video by apologizing for the rather egregious spelling error in the title screen of my last video. If you haven't seen that, this is not an attempt to make you go back and look at it, so just don't bother. No, this time I'm again talking a little bit about gear, but from a different perspective. I have been talking a lot about minimalizing. Now, I don't mean going totally minimal, but cutting back on some of the things that I've been using. I have a fairly complete set of lenses now for two different camera systems. The Sony, which is shooting this video at the moment, now is with a 23mm f1.4 Viltrox lens on it. I also have quite a few more lenses for the Sony. Most of them are rather old. They're the old NEX lenses, because this is an APS-C model, the A6300. But I find that more and more I'm using my Olympus gear simply because ergonomically I find it a little bit easier to use. I guess it's just muscle memory, the fact that I've had Olympus for quite some time. Anyhow, getting back to this idea of minimalizing. I am going to be traveling to British Columbia to see one of my sons and his family in December for Christmas. Of course, that means opportunities for pictures. So what gear will I be taking? Well, the choice turned out to be rather simple. The relatively new EM5 Mark II that I purchased a short while ago will be my camera. For lenses, I am only taking two. I'm taking a 25mm f1.7. That is, of course, a standard angle of view on a Micro Four Thirds camera. Because I need a fast prime. I need something to handle low light situations. For everything else, I have the Pro 12-40 f2.8 zoom, which of course covers all of the, I'll call it standard focal lengths, from fairly wide with a 24mm equivalent, to reasonably long, with an equivalent of 80mm at the long end. So, those are my equipment choices. Other than that, I'm just taking some memory cards, the neat little bounce flash that came with the camera, and of course, extra batteries. Daily, though, the thing I'm finding myself grabbing more and more often every day is this. Now, this is my EM1. It's the Mark I model. On it right now is the A25mm f1.7. I actually have two of these lenses. That is what I carry around. Now you might say, well, that's rather limiting. It's great if you're just doing street photography, but what about everything else? Well, this little beauty right here is the 14 to 150mm Olympus M Zuiko zoom. It's a 4 to 5.6 lens, so it's pretty much standard for a kit zoom, but it's much better quality than the kit zoom and has a much bigger zoom range. So it can take care of everything from some, I'll call it light landscape use, some light wildlife use, and pretty much everything in between. Now, it's not a fast lens, it's not ideal in low light, but you can see by its size, it extends quite a bit when you zoom, but its size is quite small. Easily fits in a very small bag. That's what I'm carrying around more and more. If I were only talking about street photography, then the camera that I introduced here just a couple of videos ago, that little EP1, would probably be my choice. In fact, It's sitting right here on my shelf, and it has pretty much the 17mm f2.8 is pretty much welded to it, as is a viewfinder that is adequate for it. It's a viewfinder that, of course, came with an old Yashica rangefinder camera, came with the auxiliary lenses for that camera. So it does not give me accurate framing, but it does allow me to see where I'm pointing the camera when the sunlight outside makes the screen on the back rather useless. So this is basically my street camera. It's small enough to fit in a big coat pocket. It's fairly lightweight, and I have a set of 4 genuine Olympus batteries for it. And of course, the genuine batteries are usually far better at holding up than most of the aftermarket batteries. I found that with aftermarket batteries, after a while I have to toss them, because what I find happening more and more often is that they will swell. I've tried charging them on different chargers, I've tried all sorts of things, but I'm still getting on average maybe about 3 years out of a set before they have to be replaced. Well, not a big deal. They're quite inexpensive compared to the factory batteries. Now, do I recommend people buy those batteries? Not really. If you can afford the genuine OEM batteries, by all means get them. They are going to be more reliable. They are going to be safer to use in your camera. Part of the reason why this battery grip is on here, this battery grip gives me a place to put batteries that I don't necessarily trust in the camera. If a battery gets stuck here because it swells, I don't mind prying it out of the battery grip. If I damage the battery grip, I'm not going to be terribly upset. If I damage the camera, that's a whole different story. So the battery grip is mainly there because of those old batteries. Anyhow, guys, that's just a little rambling today. I didn't have much else to say. I just felt like it's a good idea for me to make another video just to let everybody know I'm still here. Over the next little while, I probably won't get much opportunity to shoot videos. However, I will leave you with a few images that I have shot recently, and hopefully after my Christmas trip to British Columbia, I'll have something more interesting to show you. Meanwhile, the only takeaway from this particular video, for me at least, this is often enough. Well, I hope you enjoy the holiday season, in case I'm not back again before it begins, and bye for now.